Let's bring in Jason Williams. He is the district attorney of Orleans Parish. Jason, thanks so much for joining us. Forgive me if I have to interrupt our conversation at some point to go to this press conference. But first, we do know that the FBI is the lead agency here. So how involved are New Orleans officials and your team in this investigation? What does that collaboration look like right now?
It's a strategic partnership. You've got the FBI leading this because the current belief is that this was a terrorist attack. They have more experience than state and local agencies with these events. I'm not going to speak to the nuances and updates as you will hear from the FBI, and it wouldn't be prudent. We need to make sure that they are sharing what they believe is appropriate at this time to deliver on public safety and to find out if other individuals were involved in this attack or whether or not this was a lone wolf.
What can you tell us about the level of resources being poured into this investigation at this time and how many aspects are simultaneously being worked on?
Everything. I mean, there are multiple missions at once. One, trying to figure out who was aware that this was going to happen, who helped or assisted this perpetrator in this attack, going back, looking at his pattern of life, his digital footsteps, his physical footsteps. All that is happening and being led by the FBI. But then you've got the Louisiana State Police, and you've got the NOPD and a host of other agencies. My friend and part of the sheriff from a surrounding parish working on making sure that we're securing the city, making sure that the Sugar Bowl is safe, changing the rules of ingress and egress into the Superdome to make sure that that event can go off without there being any loss of life or any incident.
Jason, investigators have also been looking for potential accomplices in this attack. The New Orleans police superintendent telling NBC News that there are people of interest, but no additional suspects at this time. What more can you tell us about these people of interest? And are you sure there is no longer an ongoing threat?
Let me say this. It would all give us great solace to know that this man was a lone wolf acting on his own. But we've got to let the evidence tell us that because we need to be certain of that. And so that means we've got to follow all the leads and exhaust all of those leads so that when we move on from this point, we can feel confident there are no existing threats. What I can tell you is this. All of our federal, state, and local partners are doing every single thing within their power to secure the city of New Orleans and to find out if someone else was involved. I am confident in that.
What is your level of confidence that officials are prepared to host the Sugar Bowl in just about 4 hours from now and that they can ensure the safety of the tens of thousands who will be attending?
So let me say this. They hit my home. They attacked the city of New Orleans, a place where I live. My son was on Bourbon Street up until about 2 o'clock that night. So this is personal and it hits hard, hits close to home. But they attacked America. They attacked our way. This was an attack on our way of life. Football is a big part of that. This was not serendipitous. And so we've got to make sure that we don't let them change the way we live. We got to do things smarter. We got to do things better. And I think we're about to get this update right now. So I know you want to turn to that.
All right. Well, thank you so much, DA Jason Williams, for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time. And we just want you to know we're thinking about all of you there in New Orleans as you work through this difficult time. And I certainly hope that the Sugar Bowl today is as safe as possible and everybody can enjoy that event. Again, we're watching as the Louisiana State Police, the FBI, the ATF, the New Orleans Police Department are all gathering here, about to give us an update, the very latest in this investigation. While I still have you, Jason, since it looks like they're not quite ready to start just yet, I'm wondering if you can tell us any more information about why New Orleans, why Bourbon Street? Do we know?
Well, I can tell you that New Orleans is a small city that has been punching above its weight in terms of hosting large-scale national and international events for a very long time. And that makes us a soft target. America is a soft target because we are a free society. We're not a police state. And it's part of the reason why some folks want to attack us and our way of life. This was in the first few hours of a new year, which holds so much promise for every person, right? That was picked. The fact that we are hosting probably, which in my opinion is the biggest game of the year, the biggest college game of the year, Georgia versus Notre Dame. I was thoroughly looking forward to being at that game yesterday. In America, football is about as American as you can get. This attack was specifically designed to wreak havoc and terror on Americans in New Orleans. The eyes of the country were going to be watching this game. And so I think that's the reason why we were picked. Obviously, a lot of things are going to have to change just after 9/11. I remember a time when I could run from my car to the gate to catch a flight. After 9/11, we realized we need to do things very, very differently so that we can all arrive at our destination safely. I think you're going to see a lot of things change in the city of New Orleans. And actually, I think you're going to see a lot of things change in this country in terms of how we handle large-scale events, where there's pedestrian access and where vehicles are allowed. I think you're going to see things change in terms of the level of surveillance that we have in this country. We pushed back against some of that, but when you look at places like the UK and other European places where CCTV is very commonplace and used proactively so that it can look for signs or indications of an attack, I think you're going to start seeing those things in this city because I'm going to be pushing for them, and you're going to probably see them in a lot of other places that are destination cities like the city of New Orleans.
Jason, will you be going to the game tonight? And do you think that it was the right call to give a deadline, essentially, to this investigation to make sure that it's going to be safe?
I would not call the game moving forward a deadline. I think that city leaders, Sugar Bowl leaders got together. They came up with a new strategy in terms of how vehicles would be able to park in the Superdome, who would be allowed to get into the Superdome, bomb sniffing dogs. They put protocols in place to make this event as safe as it can possibly be. And I'm confident with those protocols that have been put in place. But realize this is all still very active. Just like that crime scene, that blocks-long crime scene was active for most of yesterday. This is an active investigation in a major city. The Superdome is a huge part of that. And so this is going to be very, very fluid. If new information were to come up at the last minute, that could affect the decisions that have been made. And we've got everyone from the White House to the Capitol of my state. All of our city leaders, all of our agencies are dialed in and ready to do their part.